For centuries, the mountain has been tainted by the creatures of the Dark Lords, Sauron. But this dishonor cannot last any longer. The Dwarven King has given the order. It's time to reclaim Karak Sur Khazar Khazad-dûm, the lost ancestral home. In Covenant, players lead their dwarf clan, exploring forgotten halls, battling enemies, and restoring their legacy. Only the most glorious clan will earn the monarch's favor and claim victory! Today on the Board Boys,
Covenant.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Board Boys podcast, Season 18, Episode 1. This is your board boy, King Under the Mountain. You can call me Grumpy, but not Bashful Rob.
This is your boy, give me that beer, TK.
This is your boy, has the only equivalent of a dwarven beard, Board Boy Jake.
I think wait, hold on. His beard needs more jewels and
yeah, you don't have enough braids in your beard.
I can work on that.
I feel like you and Jeremy Thoman are probably the dwarviest people I know, as far as beards go. Although
I'm probably too tall.
I think Jeremy has more of a dwarf build.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
I'm tall and lanky. That's not really dwarvy.
Yeah, you never toss a dwarf either. I was gonna maybe do that one, but I like being King Under the Mountain.
Yeah, King Under the Mountain is good.
And he goes crazy.
He does.
Because the Arkenstone.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. I like me some Lord of the Rings.
My kid just finished The Hobbit, and so we've been talking all about it for the last month or whatever. It was his first big chapter book, like real
it's
book.
A good one. Yeah, Beau read that one too. We started reading it together. I think he finished it. So
we started reading it together when he was probably 4, and we never got past the first chapter.
Yeah,
and then finally we started reading it. But we did get the there's like a hardbound illustrated Hobbit.
Yeah, I have a copy of that.
Yeah.
I also have a giant Lord of the Rings. It's like they're like these leather bound tomes.
Do they have pictures in them?
Yeah, like sparingly,
okay.
not like tons.
The Hobbit was like every page ahead of
okay, yeah, this isn't like that, but I feel like those books have been printed a lot of different ways.
Yes, for sure.
A lot of different times. Well, this is our first episode we're recording in the new year. So we are, and it's the first episode of the season. So we will be hitting up after the main review today our highlights from 2025. I feel that's weird to say because it's now 2026. And I don't know where time goes, but we'll be doing that after the review, and we also have some superlatives that Jake will lead us through, and we'll talk about some of our other games. Some that missed, some that hit, and I was way wrong about the John Gotti's tomb thing, by the way.
Oh, really? What was it?
It was Al Capone's vault.
Okay.
I threw that in the podcast as an editor's note the last time, but I thought I'd just come apologize for that again, because, I was way off.
So they opened his vault and there was
that makes way more sense than a tomb,
right?
Of like a gangster, like a vault.
Yeah, it's like
it's supposed to have like a bunch of riches and stuff in it. It was empty.
So you were thinking he was like treated like a pharaoh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
They probably had enough money at points to be treated like
just
a
like Mennefer.
Yeah, but John Gotti, there was a whole thing about where he was buried, right?
Oh, maybe.
I'm pretty sure that they were trying to find his tomb burial site, but I don't think there was like riches in it. I do remember like them trying to dig it out of like Met Stadium or something.
Interesting.
But, yeah.
Like, did he go missing or something? So
I think he went. I don't know enough about it. I think he went missing. There's a documentary about it, I believe.
Okay. I'll have to check that out.
But I don't know. Who cares?
Who cares? Who cares? Jake, why don't you hit us up with a game you've been playing?
I just have one I want to talk about. It is Shred of Redemption. It is designed by Artem Safarov, and it is from Best with One Games. So GameFound does a solo game of the month, I think every month the last year, maybe even longer. And this was one that I looked interesting and I decided to follow. It is really short. It's like 15 to 20 minutes long, and it's kind of a mix of a bag builder with some really limited movement rules. But basically what you're trying to accomplish, and the theme of the game is that you are trying to, as you're getting ready to die, you're thinking about basically the sins or, wrongs that you've committed. And so then you are pulling a die that is going to have 3 sides that are associated with one primary sin And all the other ones are a mix between others. And then you also are going to pull 2 cards that give you some little flexibility, and you pick one of them. And then basically what happens when the game starts is you roll each of those die, and then you have to get these redemption tokens to align with that sin underneath of them. And there's really strict rules regarding how you can move things. Basically, each of the tiles allows you a ability that you can do if you flip it to exhausted, and then if you do it again, then that gets discarded. Or there's a better ability, but it just requires you to discard the tile, and it has to be ready for you to do that. And so it's just kind of a mix of trying to get things where they need to be with those really limited movement rules. Once you get it set, if you're able to get it in a way that's going to succeed the requirements, then you draw one of these cards that is going to basically throw a last minute twist at you, and you have to use whatever ability you still have left to get it back to where you need to go. So it's really quick, it's really thinky, it makes you feel clever when you find ways to manipulate it, and it's a really fast setup and teardown, and I don't know, I really enjoy it. There hasn't been a ton of solo games that I've gotten into and want to play repeatedly unless there has been kind of like a driving story or campaign associated with it. But this is one I think I've played 5 or 6 times already, and it's just it's really good. So I recommend it. I don't know what it's going to be regarding general release, but I think that Best with One Publishing, they just then have like their catalog of games that you can order from after they've been fulfilled. But it was a pretty quick Kickstarter, and it has definitely made me interested in looking at some of their additional games that come through that same process.
Nice. Is that the one you posted on the Discord?
Yes.
Picture of?
I did.
Yeah, I thought the box looked cool.
Yeah.
It's just solo.
Purely solo.
Okay.
Yep. No other options.
Right on. Not El Presidente or whatever it is. You haven't gotten
it. It is not Mr. President. So I've gotten that game out a lot of times, I feel like I should say, and then I always like, hey, I'm going to start this. And then I start going through the 20 manuals that it takes to play a game, and I'm like, you know what, tonight's not the night. And then it becomes 3 months, and then eventually I get tired of it sitting out, and I put it back up on the shelf. It'll come back around again and probably not get played again. I'm sure that'll happen.
You're not the type of person that's just going to bust it out and start playing and then figure it out.
Definitely not. Yeah. So every time I make the decision to play it again, I'm going to reread all of those things that I've already reread, and then probably decide I'm not going to play it. It's what's happened like 3 times already.
That sounds like a vicious cycle.
It is. Someday. Maybe when I retire.
So 30 years from now, you're going to carry around one board game for 30 years.
I mean, I don't really plan on moving, so it'll just sit somewhere in the house.
All right. So the one I'd like to talk about, Rob and I got to play Escape Plan by Lacerda. So Escape Plan, you have robbed a bank. You have scattered your money throughout a city in which you will kind of build as the game progresses. And then you're going to go around and try to find your money that you stole and then try to escape as the police kind of call it hone in on your location, Rob. I think that would be a little good way to describe it. The game is pretty simple to play in that you basically move, you do an action on a building when you get there, or if there's no building, you don't do anything. And then that's pretty much it. In, Lacerda fashion, there's a whole bunch more to each individual action or whatever, but you have a secret card in which will tell you how much money you'll score at the end of the game, or how much income you'll get when you go to a location, and you are basically moving and trying to avoid the police that are on your tile. It was relatively easy to play and teach. We played it at 5, which I thought was bonkers at the time. It did not take super long to play at 5 either. It was probably 2 hours, right?
Yeah, I think it's actually better probably at higher player counts.
Okay.
Just a little more interaction.
Yeah, because you're trying to avoid the police, and the police, I don't know, give you wounds as you move off of their tiles. So if you're like on the same tile with them and you do an action on the same tile, you don't get those wounds. But the other players move the police around quite a bit. There's some bonus tiles and cards and helpers that let you move those around. I thought it was pretty cool. I liked that game quite a bit. I wouldn't say I liked it as much as Speakeasy, but I definitely liked it probably in the call it Kanban Escape Plan. I definitely liked it better than On Mars or Inventions. Rob, you have any thoughts?
No, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm glad I picked it back up because I do like it, and it's pretty easy to get into. There's a lot of iconography, but I really like the theme. I mean, the only thing you might not like is, and it's something you probably need to preface your teach with, is money at the end of the game can be hard to come by. And if you're not ready to escape, you can get stuck. And like 2 of us didn't escape, I think, and we scored 0 points. And it doesn't feel super good to play a game for 2 hours
and then score 0 points.
Score 0, but That's your own fault.
Yeah,
I guess.
I would have gotten stuck if Rob would have had one more dollar and had been, so he would have scored and I would have gotten stuck. So yeah, because because basically the first person who escapes for free, and then the next two people I think was $5, the next people was $10.
Well,
But
it's not just that. You also got to pay $1 to take another turn after people get out.
Yeah.
So then that was my problem was I had the money to get out, but not after I paid the $1 to take my turn.
right, so you were $1 short, and I was able to leave right after you. So
Yep, and I was $1 short for like 2 turns in a row as I tried to struggle and get one more dollar.
yeah, and then ran out of actions. I think is kind of yeah.
I did. I tried to chain it together, but it couldn't happen.
I definitely play that game again. It was fun.
It was super fun. I'd like to try it again soon as well. I have a couple that I want to talk about. One, because I want to do it before we forget. One is called Pandora's Legacy, because Tim and I both played that.
I have it, but I haven't played it yet.
Okay. So we kind of do a spoiler free. This is from TED Games. The designer is Alex Rosenthal, and the artist is Sen Tripp, which I should say because the art is great and it's just a big puzzle. This came out in 2025, and I'm going to guess it's probably going to be available in retail.
It came out 2 days ago.
Oh, okay.
In retail.
Anyway, it says the playing time is 720 to 900 minutes, which I think is pretty funny.
Sounds about right.
It plays 1 to 99 players, which I also think is funny. The community's 1 to 3, best at 2. Anyway, the 3 of us did it. Amy, Beau, and I. And I think you and Remy and Claudia
Remy, and
did
Claudia
it.
did it. Yeah.
It says the weight is 3. I mean, I don't know why anybody would weight this game, except for like how hard the puzzles are.
Yeah, some of the puzzles are challenging.
Ultimately, it is a game where you're going to unlock stuff. It's a legacy game. It's completely resettable. If you like puzzles, you get to do a big puzzle, and then you get to do more parts of the puzzle. And then you basically use the puzzle in an app, a web app, to solve a bunch of riddles / puzzles, escape room type logic things. And some I thought were really clever. Some I thought were really obtuse. But overall, I think we had a lot of fun with it, and we definitely got our time and money's worth out of it. I will say the puzzle, you guys said you screamed through it.
Mm-hmm.
The puzzle took us 6 hours, I think, to do the entire, when you open the box, it's like, do the puzzle, and that's what we did.
Yeah. It's the first thing you do.
Yeah.
So it's not really a spoiler.
Yeah. And the puzzle is oddly shaped.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that kind of threw us for a little bit of a loop for some of the things.
Yeah, I think we did the original puzzle in under 2 hours.
You guys are good.
I mean, I don't know how many puzzles you do. We do puzzles quite a bit, but this puzzle is not like, there are some puzzles where it's hard because the pictures are hard and stuff and things don't line up. This one's hard because of the way the puzzle was shaped, probably more than...
It has some weird pieces.
It does. It's not like everything is the same color-ish and you got to line up line everything up. The picture definitely helps you line some stuff up. So
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Pandora's Legacy from TED Games, I think, was overall a positive experience. It was fun.
I never looked up a hint. My wife looked up one, but in every little, call it riddle, there's a hint button that you can kind of go look and so if you're afraid of getting stuck or something, I think all of those hints should get you through maybe a riddle you don't understand or something like that. And for me, it was always about perspective more than...
Yeah, you can hit the hint button, and usually there was a half a dozen, depending on how complicated it was, a half a dozen to 10 different hints per thing. And eventually they're like, here's the answer.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So
if you really can't get something, it's not like you're going to get stuck and never be able to do it. There were a couple of things that I wish they would have explained why that was the answer. Because a couple times I'm like, I don't understand anything. And we're just like, what's the answer? Because it was escaping us, I guess.
We brute forced a couple of them. But I think in general, for me, they were all relatively not straightforward, but I think they all made sense in how you got there. But it was cool. So cool that I went and bought 3 copies and I'm shipping them to people as presents. So
there you go.
Yeah, including my own. So I'm going to ship 4 out here in a little bit.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Another one I want to talk about quickly is Above and Below Haunted. Ben brought this over and I played it. It's from Ryan Lockett and Red Raven Games. I had played the original Above and Below kind of when I was jumping into games again years ago. And I liked it. It was one of the first storybook games. This is basically, if you've played Above and Below, it's Above and Below with ghosts. which are bad, and you can kind of like ship them over to other people and stuff. Ultimately, I know people love Red Raven Games stuff. I don't anymore. Like, those stories are cool, but like the way you score the game, I don't know. There's just not a lot. I feel like this would be something fun if I was playing maybe just with Beau or, families or whatever. There's not enough like meat on the bone. And like, I don't find the game that interesting as far as Above and Below goes. Have you guys played Above and Below at all?
I have not.
And like, you're basically like collecting resources, and the more different ones you collect, they're worth more points if you collect more of the same thing. And then it is kind of nice when you go in there, I don't think you can completely like fail a roll too. And you send guys out on adventures. And that's the most fun part. Like, I enjoyed the game just by like going and adventuring and stuff. And like the scoring was kind of like, I don't care or whatever. And some of the things can chain. Thinking back on that, I really did like his game Near and Far, which is more of campaigny type version of that.
Those are two different games.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Above and Below and Near and Far. Like, he riffed on the same thing quite a bit, actually. And like, I think you played Sleeping Gods, right, Jake?
I played some of it, but couldn't get into it and eventually sold it. But yeah.
Okay, so you didn't really jive with that either.
It's I don't know what it is about it. I enjoyed it when I played it, but then just I think just there were some mechanisms that weren't overly compatible with what I look for in that type of game, and therefore didn't drive me to want to keep playing it. But I got it out a couple times, and we made progress on it a couple times. But yeah, I like the Caravan one that I played with you the one time, but I can't remember what that's called right now. Creature Caravan.
Oh,
I like
yeah.
that one.
Sure.
That one was fun.
One last one I want to just throw out. Monopoly from 1935. We bought a copy of Monopoly because Beau said, I've never played regular Monopoly.
I have multiple. I wish you would have told me that. I could have given you one.
Well, I wanted the new one in the square box because that to me feels like the current board gamer version. And I will say the production on the Monopoly version is really good. You get lots of cool different pieces. There's a couple that I hadn't recognized, like a little bag of gold. I'm the top hat, by the way. I don't know what you guys play.
I think the thimble is usually what I am.
Beau didn't know what a thimble was.
I mean, that tracks.
That's what I thought was interesting.
I like the car and the dog.
Okay. And then talking about Monopoly, summoned a random board boy Beau, so I think he would like to give a quick insight. Here you go.
Every time I play, I think I play as what's it called? Yeah, so I play as the what's it called? That's
the thimble, the thing that goes on your like your.
No, I don't know what it's called. I just don't know. I don't remember.
Wheelbarrow?
No.
There's no wheelbarrow in this version. There's a penguin, a top hat.
There's like a battleship, and there's like a guy on a horse.
There's no battleship. The horse. So they've changed some of the pieces.
I don't know what it is, but expansions.
Okay, yeah. So that was the part I wanted to talk about. We played with. I'm only going to talk about one because we've only played with the one. They came out with 3 expansions for this copy of Monopoly. And I think I bought all 3 of them and the base game for like $25 or something. Anyway, we played with the free parking jackpot expansion. There's one about going to jail, and there's one called Buy Everything. I will come back when we play those. But I've actually played 2 games of Monopoly in the last couple of weeks, and they both took an hour. So, and I played with people when we started auctioning properties and like playing by the right rules. They were confused because nobody plays Monopoly correctly. And I think a lot of people don't even know about like the auctions and things. Anyway, the reason why the expansions, even though it adds more stuff and juices it up, the free parking one actually introduces the free parking space that gives you the ability to win. Basically, everything you pay goes into free parking, and when you land on it, you get it. Which, in the house rule of that...
That's how I've always played Monopoly.
Yeah, and that's why the game lasts forever, because you're just injecting more money into the economy constantly. But when you land on it, you also get the Deal Mobile, which you swap your piece for. And this is a really cool little car. And basically, the Deal Mobile lets you not pay any rent to anybody, and you get to buy anything you land on for free. And you're just driving around doing that.
So you win.
No, you don't, because I didn't have it at all. I got it eventually, but I ended up winning. The game ends when all the properties are gone, or if one person goes bankrupt. So that's how they make the game not go on forever with the expansions. They all kind of do that. The other thing is you don't play with the Chancer community chest. There's these little clips that you clip on those spaces, and when you land on them, you can spin the spinner, and it's like you either have to pay money or you get like a benefit or a bonus or something. So like there's a cool spinner in it, and you can collect these little chips. Like if I'm supposed to pay Tim $6 for Baltic or whatever, instead of taking my $6, he can take a chip that on his thing he can do it, and he can spin the wheel instead. So I thought like the free parking expansion was kind of fun. It's still Monopoly, but like it's Monopoly that you can play in an hour. The BGG says 40 minutes,
Okay.
but anyway.
So the Dealmobile, if you land on the space again, then you steal the Dealmobile from the other players. And the Dealmobile, so you swap your car out for the Dealmobile, and your car goes on the free parking space.
That's correct. Anyway, that was free parking, the Monopoly expansion. Unfortunately, there's no way you're ever going to fit all that stuff into one box, so I have a bunch of Monopoly boxes now. They're super tiny though, so. But the insert for that square box Monopoly is really good.
When I was a teacher still in my sociology class, when we were talking about social class, we would always play social class Monopoly, which basically is set up to give, obviously advantages to upper class and such. And that was a fun way to play it. Obviously you knew who was going to win as a result, but there's just some fun quirks, and it was good for some of the lessons we did out of it. So that's my favorite way to play Monopoly. Not for the game's sake, but
sure,
it's interesting anyways.
All right, well, tonight on the podcast, we played Covenant by Devir Games and Jermaine P. Milan. The artist is Enrique Fernandez Pelez, and the publisher is Devir. It is currently ranked 7.8 on BGG. That is good for a rank of 2,258th overall. In Covenant, you're leading your dwarven clans to reclaim the sacred mountain. It is 1 to 4 players, best at 2 or 3, 100-minute playing time, 14 plus, 3.71 out of 5 is the weight. Jake, you want to tell us what we're doing in Covenant?
Sure. You have a group of 4 dwarves that are represented by a certain strength. So they all start at 1, and they can eventually max out at 4. And then you are going to take 1 of 4 primary actions on your board by moving a dwarf out of the bar and into those actions. So the first one you can do is you can mine, and this is basically gathering resources. And by doing that, you move up the mining track. And then it also allows you to basically allow additional halls to be accessible, and you get the reward for what you flipped over. Another action is to make deliveries. So you take all of those resources that you gathered and you send them to 1 of 6 different places. And then by doing that, as long as you fulfill the amount of deliveries that space requires, you get the building associated with it, either a gate or a pillar. And then that also allows you some rewards on a different track. And then there is the action of fighting the baddies that are going to populate those halls. So upon reveal, each hall has a certain number of enemies that spawn there. And so based on the strength of the action, you fight them and you gain rewards based on what you have defeated. And then additionally, you move up a track that's associated with that. And then the other action is you building. And so you start with 2 different buildings, houses and workshops. But again, if you've made deliveries, you've opened up gates and pillars. You place those on or across different tiles and then unlock rewards that way. There are also different things happening where you are potentially gaining different little dwarf coins that give you an income and an immediate benefit. You can forge additional action spaces, including a book, which is a wild action. You can gain inlets that basically populate on those actions and provide an extra incentive when you take them. And that is what you're doing. It is played over 3 rounds, so it is 12 actions long, and it is very much Combo City.
All right, well, let's get to the table and come back with our thoughts on Covenant. All right, initial thoughts time here on Covenant. I'll start. The first thing I thought about when you were given the description is I've always wanted to build a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Euro game. And I think like you could skin this as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because you have 4 dwarves and you could fight guys and you could like build out like your sewer layer. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Who's the builder of the 4 turtles?
Donatello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean he'd be the designer. He wouldn't be the builder. Like he would lay out the blueprint.
Raphael's probably like the muscle.
The grunt, yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Michelangelo's
Mike
just screwing around.
I think he's like you activate it, and only 50% of the time he does what he's supposed to do.
Originally, I thought it could be like
pizza.
a pick up and deliver game where like you can go like deliver pizza and stuff. But I don't know why Ninja Turtles would deliver pizza.
They'd mostly just eat the pizza.
Yeah. Anyway,
Who was your favorite as a kid? I mean, Donatello was mine.
when I was a kid, Michelangelo.
Tim,
Same.
Michelangelo.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like that fits your personality.
I don't know what to tell you.
Interesting. Do you agree? Is that Tim's personality, Michelangelo? Like the
I don't know.
hang ten,
like is there-
cowabunga dude?
Like, is there some? Yeah, kind of. I think Tim's like a surfer dude.
I guess
in his
Tim's
soul.
bros just make up his cowabungas.
Yeah, I think Tim in another life lived on a beach and just surfed all day.
Sounds sweet.
See?
Yeah.
There you go.
Too
I like the
much
ocean.
sun and too much sand. Bad.
Well, that's true. Well, back to Covenant. I saw this, like the theme on this thing originally, just like the theme and the designer sold me first of all.
Designer was enough for me. I've been a hit on just about every game I've played of his. So as soon as I saw he had a new game coming, I was automatically interested.
Yeah, I really was just jazzed on everything, the looks, the production, just everything about it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with both of those. German Puma Milan.
Yeah,
Like, we all like his games a lot. So
it's true.
I guess
I
probably
still have not played Sabika. That's something I need to play at some point, but I like the other 3.
once a year, we're like, sweet, this is the good game that comes out from him, and we'll get
Exactly.
it and play it. So yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So I think we're all in the same kind of boat of we're going to buy every single one of his games, at least until he disappoints us.
Yeah, I think on first play, I guess my first thoughts of the actual game itself is I was like, wow, 12 actions doesn't seem like a lot. And then it's just like, wow, so many things happen on your turns of moving, which gets you this, which gets you this. There was one time today where Tim was still fulfilling things like a full round and a half later. He was like, oh yeah, this, which leads to this, which leads to this, which leads to this.
Yep. And I guess we'll get to that in cons too. I mean, not about what Tim was doing, but just in general. A big pro for me is tracks. There are 3 of them, and they are all very cool and different in different ways. They all give you stuff. They all increment into some endgame scoring things. And also, the player boards are super fun. You just have these big old giant player boards with stuff that slot in there. And you got a jail for the guys that you're killing and put them in jail. I don't know, you're capturing them and putting them in your jail, I guess. Which I guess is kind of unthematic. Like, is a dwarf really going to go capture a goblin and put him in a jail cell?
Maybe if he's ransoming him in for something.
No, man, that dwarf is just going to cut his head off with his axe.
I don't know.
I'm
Maybe.
saying unthematic. All I'm saying is Gimli wasn't counting the number of orcs that he jailed.
That's true.
In Lord of the Rings.
That's true.
Like, there was no competition between him and Legolas on the number of baddies jailed.
Fair. Some other pros. I think that I really like the action selection system and the strength of your dwarves and the way that you can upgrade those. And then the decision when you get those upgrades, whether you continue to make one guy even further better or kind of make a well-rounded thing. And then the beer is a nice way to stretch that. And I also think it leads to some interesting decisions in that a beer can either be a +1 or a +2. But if you take a +2 token, you can't split that. There is no change. It's just going to add the +2. And I think that's really interesting. So sometimes the component in a game that just allows you to stretch something a little further just feels superfluous. But in this case, I think there's a lot of planning into what that opens up for you because there are thresholds within actions for what you can do when you get a higher strength. And I think that's really interesting.
I also like that the strength, like going up in strength for each of the different actions has different benefits, if that makes sense. So it's not always the same of just you get to do more things, but it's like you get to do more things differently. Like you get to take more resources, you get to
Types of buildings.
you get to put out different types of buildings, right? We can always ever put out 2 buildings total. So you get to put different types of buildings there. You get when you dig, I guess you get more resources, but you also get to bump more on the tracks. You can fight more guys. I don't know. I just think the way that it interacts with those, you can make more deliveries, I guess, is good in that you can all these actions also feel good at 1 and 2. So it's not like if someone else does a 4 and you do a 2, it's infinitely better, if that makes sense. It can be different depending on which of the actions you're doing.
Another thing, and this isn't a major thing, but I really like how this game does the selection of different benefits you get. So, for instance, when you're getting the little upgrade, which are like the scrolls, or getting the little dwarf tokens that look like owls to me for some reason. But there is, there's a river for it, and then taking at the higher end costs you points. But I feel like so often in games, that point negative feels debilitating enough that people just aren't willing to do it. But in this game, it's just so obvious sometimes how good that can be for what you're doing that you don't even mind dumping 3 points for something. And I just feel like the way that this is done makes that an interesting decision more so than other games where you're just like, yeah, I'm not going to do that because it's negative points. And I think that's really well done, how they manage that.
Yeah, so Rob talked about you start with 4 actions on your board, 1 of each of the main actions, and you can upgrade your board by adding 1 of those 4 actions plus a wild onto the bottom. And each player board has a different combination of, when you slot 1 of those in, there's a bonus. And then in each column, there's also an end game scoring trigger. And I really like the decision of, well, I really want this bonus right now, but I want to score this thing at the end of the game, or synergizing those 2 things, I think is really, really cool. Like this game, I would say I was not able to synergize between the end game scoring in my column, my goal at the beginning of the game, and what I was actually doing in the game, and the bonuses on my board. But I think that's a really cool decision of, like, when you get a new action, where you have to slot it in. And it's not like there's not an action to get new actions. You have to get it through other things. And I think that's cool too. So you get the jewels, you get the owls, and you get the extra actions in your board through doing any of the other main actions for the most part. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I will say this game feels to me, at least on a first play, kind of like, I always go back to Marco Polo as a thing to this. I think you could play this game, like anybody could probably sit down and play this game and just not do well. Like there's a hump you hit, I think. There's also a natural progression where you're just going to kind of get stronger and things get better. But there's definitely games where everything just syncs up and synergizes and it feels really good. And this hits that to do this. And then like I was playing a solo game before you guys got here, and I was in round 3 and I felt like I had done nothing. And then I didn't finish the last round, which I would have had more, but there's no way I was going to do near what I was doing in the game we did tonight. I had like a bunch of coins. I had all 4 of those. Like I had lots of everything. And I don't think that is just going to come to you every play unless because I am less strategic overall. And this game makes me think more strategically than it makes me think of just what do I want to do right now.
The really funny thing on that is I was just going to make a point about how this game, more so than others, I'm probably more tactical than I am in most games.
So today I really was like, okay, I'm going to be like, I took my 2 scoring things at the beginning. And by the way, I really liked the beginning draft you do where you draft your starting stuff, your 2 end game objectives, and then like a special ability tile. Also, I really like all the special ability tiles. And I guess to tangent off, everything in this game is just super replayable. There's tons of all the different tiles and things. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to draft my special ability and then I'm going to lean into that. And then there was another tile that was like, okay, when I get to do this action, I get to do this other thing. So then I leaned into that. And the game can really drive you in a direction to go. And then also getting more tiles that let you take more of the same action. There's games of this where I've played where I've hardly done that at all. And I feel like I do way worse than when I take more of those and are able to do more of the same action.
So if you don't take a tile with the same action on it, you will do 12 total actions, 3 of each of the 4 things, and there's nothing more you can do.
Yeah, and I think
so you won't ever be able to hammer any one of the 4 things.
Yeah, and I think that's bad.
Correct.
Well, and you also none of your things are going to score on
and
your
then like
board.
those are also endgame scoring, and all that just adds up. Like to do well in this game, you have to hit all those notes. Like you have to get your endgame scoring tiles. You have to do this, you have to do that. Now you can do something a little less than the others. Like I hardly delivered stuff today, and I was still able to build a bunch of buildings and things. Like I built one of each of the big buildings, but you also could just hammer into that hard and build a bunch of the bigger buildings that you get by unlocking and delivering stuff. And I always thought killing guys was a bad strategy because I've never seen anyone do well with killing guys. And today that was a big part of my strategy and it paid off. So I think this game feels fairly balanced now that I've played it a few times as far as all the different things. You just have to lean in to your strengths and what you've got, especially off of the beginning and maybe how the game is unfolding for you.
So I want to add something there, and I do agree. I do think it's great the volume of things there are for everything. I mean, what did we see? A third of the scrolls this game.
Yeah, there's so many scrolls,
and I mean in the different buildings options too, with the different color inlays and the inlays and way you can customize those things. However, I do have some issue with the fact that we mentioned the importance of synergizing things. There are things each game that are just going to be inherently better than other things when the extra scoring things come up within those abilities. So for instance, I was doing relics, and the last time I played this, I had multiple things that scored relics, so I was scoring that like 3 different ways. And if the other things don't come up for that, this game, that just isn't as good, which is a pro. I mean, it's a pro in the fact that there's flexibility, but if you really want to do well, you're kind of handcuffed to some extent if that isn't already, if the things that are showing up that are going to score isn't already what you have objectives for / isn't already what you are building your upgrades into. Now, to counter that a little bit, you do get to see what each round is scoring at the end. At the beginning of the game, you can see all of those and plan accordingly. But I do still feel like it's not always going to be super equitable in what is going to allow you to score multiple times because of what comes up.
I mean, those are always the end round scoring objectives are always for building things.
And I was gonna,
which means building, and like if you ignore those, you can't ignore those because you score them a total of, you score the first one 3 times, the second one twice, and the last one once. So that is a chunk of points right there you're leaving on the table that if you build 0 like I think building is something that you've got to do at least a little bit of. Like I don't know, I probably built 6 or 7 total buildings, maybe 5 or 6.
Buildings get you
but only
so
2
much.
of like the mega things. But plus they give you stuff.
They give you so much stuff.
Yeah.
I honestly, I was going to come back to that in cons, and I'm sure that there were a lot of thoughts in the balancing of the way the points exist now. Like I'm sure that went through several layers of checking, but I do wish those end of round things weren't always building related. I wish there were other things that came from that, like the number of delivery things you have out and things like that. It feels like buildings more so than other things you just can't not do.
I mean, we are rebuilding the city.
True.
Like that part of that is also like exploring the tiles and things too.
In the way that the actions are set up with the 4 of them, it makes you think that is one of the 4 viable things, but all of the end round things are associated with that, or most of them anyways. So I do wish maybe there was a little more variety there, but again, probably they have went through and audited where points come from and they needed to be that way.
I mean, because delivering stuff gives you like the better buildings to build.
It gives you instant points.
And instant points. I mean, the thing I do like is how all 4 actions kind of tie into each other.
Definitely.
Because you have to murk the baddies because they give you negative points at the end of the game if they're in your spot, or you've got to move them.
You also bump the track to get technology and strength.
Yeah, plus you just that bumps you and gives you all kinds of stuff. Same thing with digging, that bumps tracks. Like,
well, and you have to dig to get the resources to build.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm saying. Like, so you're never going to completely ignore something in the game 100%.
Well,
Jake did that this game, and it does not work.
Okay.
But I did that intentionally.
You could pretty much ignore killing guys.
No, I did that, and it didn't work.
Okay. I get that, but like you could, And I feel like it wouldn't hinder you as much as some of the other things. Although maybe it did.
See,
you.
that is what I thought and why I wanted to try that this time. But if you can't make your dwarves better, which is primarily what you get for killing people that track, then you're just you get stuck not taking really good actions. Now, sure, there probably would have been ways I could have mitigated that a little bit better, but I like that to some extent you should do a little bit of everything. But again, it should align with what you're trying to score and trying to synergize those things and making that the best. One of the things I was going to say really quick when you were reading through the stats, do you think 375 is really high for this? It feels like that's higher than it should be for me.
I mean, it's got a little 4-page booklet on how to play the game.
Yeah, but outside of what rewards go with what, I mean, I don't ever look at that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I would say.
So
I would
is it
say,
just the combo upon combo
I would say
that does
it's
that?
accurate as far as if you want to play it well. But like I said, I could teach this game to probably a lot of people because what you do on a turn is not.
I taught it to my 9-year-old.
Difficult.
Yeah. Batoku is 3.77. Manefer is 3.70. So they're all right in the same area.
Man, I feel like Batoku is so much less accessible in understanding what's happening, though, that it's crazy that is the lowest.
I would agree as well. This feels Manefer-y to me.
I would agree with that.
I mean, it just
on that level.
So I don't know. Maybe our perspective is skewed in the fact that obviously we play a boatload of games and really heavy ones, but it just seems like it's pretty easy to understand what it is that you're doing in this game and Manefer for that.
Well,
reason.
I mean, when the theme ties in pretty well to the game, just like Speakeasy, I think that makes the game easier to kind of understand.
This game you can teach while playing the first round for the most part and understand what's going on. Same with Manefer. Like you can teach it while you're kind of playing it. So for me, that makes both of those games more accessible and probably a lower weight.
I mean, plus your first round, you're going to be doing less stuff because you're less powerful, and you can literally do. You're probably going to do each action one time in the first round, probably. I mean, unless you get another tile and then you decide to ignore something. But I would say normally you're probably doing. There's only 4 different. That's the other thing. It's not like there's 12 actions in this game. There's 4 actions, and so much so that like I'd finish an action and I'm like, is that all you do? Yeah, that's it. For some reason, I'm like, is there something else I'm missing? But that's just because sometimes it's like, okay, I just moved on 3 different tracks and I hit 2 different symbols that give me other things. And that's the part that like fires in my brain that makes me really like the game.
It might be where the weight comes from too.
Yeah, I think also something we mentioned earlier, the fact that getting the owl tokens, the tokens, the inlets, the extra building spaces, none of those are things, relics. None of those are things you can just do. You got to find ways to do them through the action. So that's probably where it comes from as well.
Yes.
I mean, you can end up with a board that has, 4 or 5 different technologies on it. So little bonuses for each one. I mean, you have this.
Knowing what scores between rounds versus what doesn't.
You got your 2 endgame scoring things.
I mean, that's the biggest thing is if you're going to play the game, you have to look at what's going to score first, second, and third and keep that in mind. That, and you have to pay attention to what your special ability scrolls do, because those also can juice up and help you do everything else. And then shooting to get those dwarf head coins, aka the owls, like those give you full big juicy bonuses too. Plus they run every time. Yeah, and the game Pro. This is a meaty, chunky game that we just played in an hour with 3 players. And I would say 4 players, you're probably looking at 90 minutes, probably.
Depending on who you play with.
That's
everything.
For every
That's
game.
True.
But
I do think games that allow you to do X, which lets you do X, which lets you do X, there are certain players that is really challenging for. And so I do think that that's something to be aware of upon going in.
That is true. I mean, you could definitely hit an AP hole on this one and be like, all right, what am I going to do? But I also think the limitation on like, it's not like you can take the same action twice. So like the order you want to do something in might matter, but you only have so many choices. So I think there is a fairly narrow choice space on what you're doing, which I think helps with AP.
In the main action. But I do think this is also a game that is going to lend itself many times throughout the game to say, hey, do you mind if I take this item instead of this one on that last turn that I just took, and it shouldn't affect anything. I mean, like, we all did that multiple times because there is enough strategic inlay of what you need to do the next thing, and some of those decisions when you're taking them in the string of 5 or 6 actions don't seem like they matter as much, but then do matter a ton. But
Sure.
should we jump to cons?
Yeah.
I think there are a couple things with the way that, I mean, with the way that the board is set up as reminders for things, I think for the most part is really good, but there are glaring problems, especially in the relic side, that track doesn't represent at all the way the other ones do, and being clear about what benefits you get from where. I mean, we played the first time we played this, we did it just wrong entirely, but you would never know the way that it works based on looking at the board
And reading the rule book.
The
The
rulebook.
rule
Yeah,
book
we had
was
to go
not
to
clear.
we had to go to BGG for that.
Yeah, so this is when you move up the track and you pass a relic space, you get a relic. Which also, when you pass them, you can take the ones that are below it. So what it really looks like is you were just moving up a threshold. And when you take anything else on the board, it shows the symbol of that thing in the spot that you take it, except for the relic. So if they just put the little treasure chest in the spots you take it, and then you had anything below, I think that would be perfect.
Just like on the other track, it shows when you get the coin on the track.
Or when you get the strength, or when you get the scroll.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just a minor iconography thing there that you just make sure you play it right. But now that we know that,
For me, I actually think it's a pretty big con.
oh,
In that we went and referenced the rule book, and it was unclear that you took them then too.
yeah, and then we realized that it felt really weird that you were going to get so few of these
Right.
treasure chests.
And we had to go ask, and like we went and sought out BGG, and like it's just not clear.
Yeah.
I would actually blame that more on the rule book than the board, even though the board could be clearer.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely a failure on both of those points. I think, again, this isn't a major thing, but with where it shows you score points for deliveries, it's very, very easy to forget the points that you get for delivering things, especially because you are covering different spots, which then gets you bumps on tracks. Like,
That's true. At
that
least
probably
it's- at
happens
least,
every game.
At least
somebody
it's on the
forgets.
board.
It is, but there had to have been a way to make that a little bit more clear. And
Yeah. I wish they had on the board what you got for, like, I know it's in the book, like your little pamphlet, which I'm going to hit a pro quick. I think the rule book overall is very good. It is super easy to reference where you, like, I looked in it a couple times today and it took me 10 seconds to figure out what I was looking for. And just the layout of the rule book, which Devir has missed on a lot of rule books lately. And this one actually was pretty good, I thought. And the player aid is also very good. And it tells you exactly where to go look in the rule book for extra information on it. Now, the downside is none of us ever know what you get when you build a building. It kind of locked in my head once I was playing it solo. And I knew houses, you got resources, the workshops, you got, see, now I can't remember. You get the things that go on your board.
forge new actions or inlets.
Yep. And then the little towers give you track bumps, and then the little gates give you points. But I guess I remember the points for the gates because that's 1, 2, 3 based on how good the resource is. But the tracks, I have no idea which track
which
is
one
which
goes with which.
resource. So
I just think there had to have been a better way
if there had been
to
like
put that information
like a
out.
little thing on the board next to the map or something, that would have been easier.
Yeah, they 100%
right next to where you build your build. Like
They're just
the
trying to make
space-
it look prettier,
They
I
could've-
suppose.
They could put all the icons on the actual tile for all those different things too.
on what tile?
The hexagon tile, like the resource, the track, and the point,
Oh, sure.
like on the actual tile.
You still then would need to know what you get based on
Yeah,
the building.
yeah.
But
Yeah, I think that's way easier to know. But yeah, I think that like all of us had to go reference that every single time we built a building to make sure we got it right.
I just realized we did not score. Oh wait, the regions. Never mind. Did we? Everybody scored those. I didn't score that one, so never mind. It didn't matter. But on that same note, I do also think there are problems with like the way that you read the end game goals. Like we had a long discussion about what one was, and we played it multiple times. The first time we played it, we didn't know whether it meant that specific color of hex or whether it was just a type of hex. Like there's some of those things are confusing,
Yeah.
even if you know how to play it. And even when you go to the appendix and look at them, just knowing, and there's different ways to interpret it that logically would make sense in some cases. So I just think it fell short in several ways in that regard for how those things work and how that information is presented.
Yeah, because sometimes it's a region, which is a group of the same color tiles, or a tile, or a building. So yeah, I could definitely see that. Other cons.
I do want to say one other thing. I do think this is pro. I meant to say it earlier, but I really like the thresholds that exist on the tracks and scoring the objectives based on how far you get on those, which also, again, really pushes you to be kind of a generalist that you're pushing on those tracks. But the fact that you're given those goals at the beginning, you know exactly what they are the whole game, but knowing to score both of them, you have a pretty clear but yet challenging mission there. I think that's really interesting, and I enjoy that quite a bit.
I have a con that they printed 200 points on your player board, and I think that is an unattainable number from reading BGG. Because I was like, am I doing something wrong? Do we really suck at this game? Our scores were like in the 90s, like our high scores. I hit 99 today. That felt really good. I think you can hit 100, but like 200?
Yeah, that's silly.
That's insane. Like, that's not that big of a con. Like they put that thing on there. I'm mostly joking, but it did make me think, like, are we doing something wrong? But we're not.
I mean, besides not taking relics, the first.
Well, that's
game
true.
and a half.
We played the first game wrong.
Yeah.
That's correct. But then we locked it out. I mean, I played this game 5 times now. It looks like.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Pretty close for me.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there for me too.
Final thoughts?
All right. Final thoughts time here on the Board Boys podcast. We have a 3 boing rating scale, 0 being the worst, 3 being the best. Half boings are allowed. Your favorite game of all time is your 4 boing game.
Stay tuned for Rob's 4 boing gang of this season.
That's true. The last 2 seasons have both had a 4 boing game. So let's say a 0 boing game of Covenant is probably
Moria, right? Everybody, all the dwarves are dead.
Yeah, the king under the mountain, he's not there anymore. And there's a Balrog, guys. If this game had a Balrog, that'd be so sick.
Expansion, here we come.
How much more money would this game have cost if it had the Lord of the Rings game theme?
Probably $30.
Which, by the way, that is the 3 boing game. Is Covenant is actually called Covenant Lord of the Rings under Casa Doom. I don't know.
There were so many Lord of the Rings games this last year, though.
I know. It was awesome. You might hear some of them on my list coming up. I'll go first on this one because I've kind of been, I don't know. I think I kind of roller coastered on this one a little bit after I played a game of it and did like really poorly, and then was like, this game's hard to do well in. And I don't mind that. I have to just kind of recalibrate myself. Just, this is the kind of game that makes my brain feel good. Like just the reward system it gives and the doing this to do that, to get this thing, to make that thing happen. And some games, I feel like it's hard to remember all those things. For some reason, I feel fairly confident in this one that I don't miss crap. And there's some games that I definitely feel like I miss stuff in. Also, I hadn't played this game for a couple months, and I busted it out to play the solo game and just kind of learned the solo stuff and knew how to play it. And this game is going to be really easy just to pop back on the table in another couple of months and play it again if we want to.
The combo stuff that you get is usually big items, scrolls, owls, artifacts, things like that. So those are pretty impactful. It's not usually like every once in a while you get like a resource or something, but it's not like you get 1 point every turn, or 2 points or things like small little things that you could miss. So I think that's why you probably don't miss them. I also feel pretty confident I didn't miss anything.
Yeah, I think my rating on BGG stands. It's an 8, so that's going to turn into a 2.5 boinger for Under the Mountain Rob.
I can go next. I really like this game. As we mentioned earlier, I'm a big fan of the designer and the games that I've played so far. It's, I think, my second favorite of the ones that I've played. And so I think my ratings would go Metaphor and then Covenant and then Batoku, although I like Batoku a lot. And again, I mentioned I haven't played Subika. There are just too many little things regarding the things that we talked about in cons for me to give it a 3, but I do really, really enjoy it. As Rob was kind of mentioning, I've also been on a little bit of a roller coaster. the kind of funny thing about that roller coaster is the last one I played that I won and did very well on is where I was a little bit down on it, and I did really poorly today. And I'm higher on it again. So I'm going to give it a 2.5, which I feel like is representative of me really liking it, but a couple things preventing it from being a 3.
I agree with both of you. I think for me, it's 2.5. I'll echo both of what you said. There's just a couple little things that maybe make it not a 3. For me, one of the big ones is having to reference the rule book every time I want to pull out, I guess, player aid. Every time I want to pull out one of those buildings, and then that, the artifacts are not very clear. Otherwise, I think it's good. It was easy to teach to a 9-year-old, and he generally understood. He beat me, so but I like it. I'm going to rank mine, and I'm going to give Maneffer the number 1 spot because it's easier to get to the table than Batoku. But I think for me, both of those are very fun. Sabika, then this one, and all that to say, I really like all 4 of those games a lot. So,
I guess if I was going to do mine, I think I like this one the best.
Okay.
Then probably Maneffer, Batoku, and then probably Sabika. But once again, they're all very, very close. And like the game I would want to play by him right now is Batoku. I have not played the expansion that I've got that adds a couple little modules. And that's one I've been really itching to get back to the table. So it's also the one that I think that between that and Sabika would be the hardest to remember how to get back to the table. Whereas Covenant and Maneffer would both be really easy to get back, I think.
I did not have a terrible time teaching you Batoku after not playing it for like a year.
No, I don't. Yeah. You didn't have to look at the rules a whole lot.
Not too much. Like a little refresher here and there, but for the most part, you play the card, you unlock the dice, you put the dice, you walk the dice, and that's what you can do on your turn.
Yeah.
And after that, it's all...
I mean, I'm sure it would come back to me quicker, but like I don't feel like I would feel confident pulling it out and putting it on the table without rereading the rules.
Sure.
But that's just me.
Sabika,
in general.
I know you move 4 workers around a rondel, but that's... After that, it's like...
And get cards and combos and build
boats,
stuff. Yeah.
All right, cool. Do you want to dive in? We're going to do our top 5 games of the year with a couple other ones. You want to kind of dive into that? Everyone want to start with like number 5?
Let's do it. I am going to do this in probably no particular order.
What, bro? Give it.
You got to rank them. Well, you can go last for each one.
I mean, that's fine. I came ill prepared for this. So
it's just like the rest of Rob's life.
Yeah.
It's either the gym or
I'm
it's
normally pretty prepared. I also have probably played more 2025 games than any of you.
My list was bigger than I thought it was going to be when I went to BG Stats and pulled up my 2025s, but yeah. I will start with my number 5. And my number 5, I've only played once, but I really enjoyed and want to play it again. I think there'll be a podcast episode on it before too long. It is a cam request, so I think that won't talk about it a ton, but I really enjoyed my first play of Luthier, and I would like to explore that further. And so that one left me pleasantly surprised. Now, granted, I played the Big Daddy really nice one, so I saw that Dungeons Gate has a regular one, and I thought about buying it, but I just don't know if I can go back to not having all the fancy stuff after playing with the fancy stuff.
I just want to play it with the copy that has the dice tower that has bells on it.
Talk to Al.
Okay.
Yeah, wasn't it like a $75 add-on?
I don't know, but
sure.
I mean, that thing's pretty sick.
All right. My number 5, I also only ever played once, but we will probably also do a episode on it. It is Baghdad. I really enjoyed that game. It made my brain hurt in all the right ways with the cards and the actions, placing stuff on your board. I really enjoyed that game. And again, we like the stuff from that designer. So, Rob, number 5.
Oh boy. I've actually played a bunch of the games in 2025 a lot as I'm looking at the list. So I'm going to start with one that I've played a bunch, the most actually, and it's called The Hobbit There and Back Again, the roll and write game.
And this is Reiner Knizia?
It is Reiner Knizia.
Is it a remake of a different game?
It is not.
Oh.
It is a brand new game. Shocking. But we talked about it a bunch. You can play it with anybody. It's got a bunch of different ways to play based on the map you're on. Some are like a race. Some are like a combo collecty thing. Some are Tetris, fill up your board kind of stuff. So, and it plays pretty quick. And whether you're playing with 2 or 3 or 4 people, it all feels good.
It's got the chunkiest book.
It does. It feels good. It's like you're reading a little board book.
Yeah, from like your kids.
Yeah.
All right, my number 4 is Covenant, what we just played right now, so I probably don't need to say a whole lot more about it.
Hey, me too.
Samesies.
Covenant.
Rob. Bump it in there.
We did
Peer
not.
pressure.
No, I'm going to go. It's probably up there for me, but so you guys both put it on your list. I'm going to go Hot Streak because that game is the game I've probably had the most fun with all year, and it's hilarious, and you can play it also with anybody. It's so fun.
It was my runner-up for biggest surprise.
Okay.
All right, my number 3 is Speakeasy, which we did last time. I really enjoy it. It has, again, it increased my interest and going back to Lacerda again after I was kind of a little bit down on it, but I really enjoy the theme, and it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, Hot Streak was on my honorable mention, but that game is super fun. So yeah, for me, number 3 would be Core Discovery. Shockingly, for me, I actually really, really enjoyed that game. Every time we played it, it's been fun. It was probably one of the only games this year that we ran back instantly and played again. So I think that's always something good for a game. I really like that game.
I'm going to put that at in my 3 hole as well. It's one of the ones I played the most last year, and there's way more to play. I preface that by saying I have the version with all the expansions, and I think that greatly makes that game better.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I'd want to always play the same scenario.
They give you 2 in the base. They give you the flora and fauna, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I've only played like a couple more of the other ones, but it's nice to be able to be like, all right, let's try this other thing.
There's insects. What else is there other than that?
There's an insect one. There's one where you're like trying to fight some big Batman guy. And then there's
like Bruce Wayne?
Yeah, there's one that you can have a trader in, which that is the one I'm most hyped to try.
Oh my.
Because I love hidden trader stuff. I have no idea how it works, but it's called Maldonado.
Hopefully achieving the game is actually easier or something. I don't know, but
I have zero idea.
It feels like you can barely get by with everybody on the same page. I couldn't imagine someone like throwing a wrench into that.
Right.
My number 2 is something I talked about as a game that I played in its Storyfold Wildwoods. So it was a solo-only game. I had mentioned it's interesting. I think they're planning on making more of them that kind of fit that Storyfold theme, but basically the box, you pull it out, you unfold different things, and this one, again, was Luna, and you are going through fighting the shadows in a forest. It was really fun. There was a lot of things about it that would make you think it wouldn't necessarily be a Jake game, but I really, really had a lot of fun with it and just burned through it. So Storyfold Wildwoods.
All right. Number 2 for me is Galactic Cruise. I would say I have gone on a roller coaster with this one. The more that I've played it recently, the more I like it, the more I kind of understand the rules, and getting it onto BGA, I think, has kind of accelerated my like of that game. So I played a bunch on BGA, but I really liked it. It's been great. I'd like to get back to the table here soon.
My number 2 is going to be Battle of Hoth. This one I think is so high up because I've played it so many times with Beau, and it's super quick to play. It's super fun. I want to play the 4-player version of it with like the bigger map.
Was it your most played game this year?
It's up there. I think The Hobbit might be my most. Battle of Hoth was my third most, next to Core Discovery. So those are like the 3 I've played the most.
Oh yeah, you said that.
Yeah.
All right, my number 1, which there's probably not any surprises. You two both know what it is?
The Anarchy.
It is indeed the Anarchy. I mean, I played it 28 times this last year. I really, really enjoy it. I've landed in a place where I think there are things that I like better about the Anarchy than Hadrian's Wall, and there are things about Hadrian's Wall that I like better than the Anarchy. So I don't know that I would say one. I don't think the Anarchy has supplanted Hadrian's Wall for me. I just, in a cheating fashion, in my top 10, I just have a slash between them and putting their composite hole there. But I really, really, really enjoy the Anarchy, and that was a no-brainer for my number 1.
Nice. Yeah, for me, it's Speakeasy. I really like that game. I think it's my most played game this year, and I said everything on the podcast last time, but yeah, it's fantastic.
I think I'm going to throw... Man, there's so many more games that I want to talk about, but I'm going to throw Baghdad City of Peace. I'm going to stick with that one. I still really like it. It was my favorite game at BGG Con. I just got my copy and I played it again. I still really like it. It's another one that makes my brain feel good, and it has some unique mechanisms. I think we'll definitely do an episode on Baghdad.
100%.
Okay, so then from here, we got a couple superlatives. These are what we've done the last 2 years. First one is biggest disappointment of the year. And I think mine, I went back and forth a little bit, but I think Transgalactica is going to be mine. I was pretty excited to play that one. I know when Rob had it, I was eager, and we were over here to bust it out with 2, but I just really didn't like it. And I don't think that I don't know. After playing it a couple times, I just don't think there's anything that's going to draw me back to wanting to play it again either. So, yeah, that's where I landed.
And this biggest disappointment of games in 2025?
Yes.
Not on the podcast, just any game.
Any game.
Sweet.
I still think that is probably it for me because I actually was thinking about buying that one and I knew Rob had it, so I was like, I'll wait, and yeah, but just didn't hit for me.
That is example of a bad rule book from Devir.
For sure.
Yeah, for me, Origin Story, I think, was my biggest disappointment. I don't know that I was like hyped for it or anything, but it was by far my least favorite game I played this year.
I mean, at least with trick taking, I know that's something that usually
really
you're pretty interested in. And
I like trick taking. The superhero stuff is good, but man, that game just did not hit for me. I would rather play almost any other trick taker. I've been playing Dwarf King on BGA. Probably that would fall in the same realm of Origin Story. But for the most part, I love trick takers, and this one was not very good for me.
I would say mine might be March of the Ants.
not to be confused with Ants.
Correct. March of the Ants. We played it the first game with like the player powers and stuff, and they just felt weird. I need to play the game again. I've only played it the one time, and I probably was liking it the most, but it definitely flopped with the group I was playing it with, I feel like. So that's like the letdown part for me. I guess the other one I would throw in there might be Kinfire Council, which I didn't really have I wasn't really hyped for it, but I thought it could be cool, and I really don't think it's that great.
Yeah, I really liked the card game, right? That's not the card game.
Right, that's Kinfire Delve,
yeah,
which I do like that.
Yeah, so, okay, well, now I don't have to play it.
I have only played it at 2 and 6.
Well,
so,
okay.
But I mean,
2-player would be fine.
I think, I don't know, it was, no, because there's a lot of interactions and stuff. It's like Lords of Waterdeep where you can own the buildings. You neither of you played Lords of Waterdeep, have you?
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Okay.
I feel like that's a pretty fundamental step I missed in the
Yeah.
development of games. But all right, next is biggest surprise. My biggest surprise is a place for all my books. I ordered on Kickstarter. I thought it seemed kind of interesting, but I didn't necessarily have the highest of hopes. I just think that the limitations you get when moving books around makes that game really interesting to me. And then you just basically are fulfilling goals and it's organization. And yeah, it's just it's been a really pleasant surprise, and I've enjoyed it every time I played it.
My biggest surprise is Core Discovery. I think I watched Rob play this game 2 or 3 times. It was like, yeah, I never need to play that game. And then actually playing the game it's super fun. I can't say enough good things about that game. I really enjoyed it.
I would say my biggest surprise I have a bunch of them actually, but I'm going to go with Moon Colony Bloodbath because I thought I was like, it's Rio Grande and that art's stupid, and the game's super fun.
I do really enjoy it.
If you like that one. So yeah, I'll go with Moon Colony Bloodbath.
That almost made my top 5. It just didn't quite make it in. Yeah, it's
a couple of honorable mentions for that one, I think, would be Tag Team.
That one's fun. I enjoyed it when I played it.
I knew nothing about, and Toy Battle was another one.
Toy Battle I was looking at a list of, a compilation of different people who rate stuff, and that one was 3rd overall with the number of things that people
also,
had
I'd maybe throw in Druids of Adora, because that's one I didn't play at BGG Con, and then I was like, I just ended up getting it, and I think it's a really, really good feld.
Yeah, I haven't played it yet. I'm looking forward to it, though. All right, favorite on the podcast. I mean, mine's obviously the Anarchy, since we already covered that as my top game of this year, and it carries through. Meneffer would be the other one that would be potentially in line to be that, but it's the Anarchy for me.
Speakeasy for me. I think that's pretty easy choice for this year. I would say Terrascape might fall into that, and Shackleton Base would kind of be another one that were those two would be up there.
Yeah.
So.
See, Shackleton Base is a game I didn't really get played until 2025, and that would be super high on my list if it was a 2025 game. So that never fell on any of my lists, but
we played a lot of bangers this year, so
yeah. For me, Terrascape's my 4-point game, so I got to say that one. With a runner-up being Civolution, I guess. Those
Civolution's also really good.
This was the year of my 4-point games, I guess. So
until you repeat it in 2026.
That's true. We'll see.
All right, and then least favorite on the podcast, I think mine's Daitoshi. I just really don't like that game. I wish I did. There are little parts of it I like, but it is not what I want it to be every time I play it.
Roth was the one that I rated the lowest, and was definitely the one that I think, coming from, was it Chip Theory Games? I just expected more from it, I think, than what I got. So
I thought about putting that as my biggest disappointment. It was in the running for that.
Yeah, Roth for me, I
Yeah.
think, for sure. With maybe 10 being close to that, but I feel like that deserves another try for
yes,
me.
I would agree with that.
It definitely deserves another try.
All right, cool. So that'll wrap us up for kind of our call it year in review. And then let's go to our segment called the Bumper Dump, where Rob is going to slot in a song from somebody right here.
Hold on, I do want to talk about a couple of games first
Okay, yeah.
that I have not played enough, or I haven't played at all, that are high up on the list. So as I'm looking at, I've only played Fate of the Fellowship one time, talking about Lord of the Rings games.
That was number 1 on the compilation of things for
Yeah,
the
and
most.
like we don't do a lot of co-op games on the podcast. I'd really like to maybe do that one.
It's pandemic style Lord of the Rings game.
Yeah, but it's very unpandemic-y. There's a lot going on in that game, actually. The other one was a big surprise, was Booba Kiki, which I've already talked about, which I guess we have played a bunch of. But Sanctuary, I picked up after having zero interest in a tile laying game and hearing a lot of good things about it, and it's pretty high up on the 2025 lists. And so I have a copy of that, and I haven't played it yet. So I also want to throw out IR, which was I really liked on the podcast.
Yep.
That should be like a big honorable mention. That might have been my number 6 if I was going to throw out another game on there.
Yeah, we've gotten to play. I just played Merv again. We played like half a game with Sankore and IR. All three of those they're all really
I mean,
good.
like 2025, I think back, like, I don't think anything stood out to me as super, super like standout. Like, just, I don't know. Nothing was like super huge, but we talked about a ton of games already. And like, we didn't even talk about like Super Monday that I really like. Etherstone, the Voynich Puzzle,
Mhm.
How to Save a World. What?
Orloy,
Recall.
Recall,
Recall for me,
Aquarium.
Aquaria. Yeah, Recall for me might be my biggest disappointment.
I can see that.
As far as like, I didn't really mention that part of it, but just because I was so hyped for it, and it's still a really good game, but it wasn't like different enough for like I think I still like Revive better than Recall, and I was hoping to like it more.
Yeah, but Revive rips, and Recall is good.
That's true. So like, I think I just had way too high of an expectation for that. Anyway, let's go ahead and hit our bumper dump.
So this year, call it 1 year ago, we looked at Resafa. It was a 7.5 for 3536.
Bump.
No, I'm sorry. It was a 7.8 for 5810. I was looking at the wrong line.
I am not surprised that the number went down, but the rating went up. That's normally what happens.
Yeah, I'm going to guess it bumped, but it's probably still pretty high up there.
Yeah, so I said it the first time. It was 3536. So
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, it bumped. No. Yeah, I tried to hide that, but I didn't do a very good job. Yeah, so you said you played it again. I have not played it again.
Yeah, it's a beige Euro that's kind of forgettable, but it's still really, I mean, if it came out and it wasn't from Delicious Games and it wasn't from Vladimir Asuchi, I probably never would have looked at it.
Right.
But I like the game.
Yeah.
It's just there's nothing about it that stands out.
The cards and stuff were fun. Like the actions where you take the cards and you bump up the tracks and get more cards. I thought it was cool, but I think I would have a really hard time putting it on the table and being like, okay, well, here's how you play without reading the rules again.
I think I could teach it pretty easily, but I'm the one that has taught it a few times. So
Flip the card one way or the other, right? And then you do the action that's on it.
yeah, and the color matters and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
I like it. I'd like to play it again, but I haven't played it again since the podcast, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's just other Suchi games that I like. The Underwater Cities expansion came out, and like that's better than this. I want to play Woodcraft again from him.
Ever like Messina?
Yeah, that was another, like Messina. It was similar to this as far as it falling under the radar, I kind of think. So
Praga.
same.
Yeah.
I mean, Praga probably didn't fall as far under the radar.
I really like to play it. again.
Yeah,
So,
100%.
all right. If you want to give us some feedback on the bumper dump, you can do so through our Board Game Geek Guild, which you find at our website. Got a couple responses here. BJ from Board Game Gumbo says, I only had one play at BGG Con 2 years ago with Rob and Doug. We can't remember if there was a fourth player. but it was one of the highlights of BGG Con. This game deserves more publicity, and I'm glad the Board Boys are talking about it again. I wish there was a copy here in Arcadia. Is that Arcadia? That's where they kind of live at, right? So you can play it again. I'll give it 2 boings, but it was definitely higher. It could definitely be higher up with more plays. And then Luis Fontes says Resafa was one of those Euros with a very interesting puzzle and mechanics, but nobody remembers since it doesn't have that charming art that it needed to have nowadays to be a board game media darling. At this point, it can be called a hidden gem, or more accurately, a diamond in the rough. For me, it's a solid 2.5, waiting to be a 3, just held back by art and components. Which is kind of what you said. Like if it had,
super beige.
yeah, if it had maybe a different theme or something too, it probably would help it out.
It had really cool camels.
Yeah,
you could slot your little pieces into.
The dropping the water through the aqueducts and stuff, I thought was fun.
Yeah,
so.
I would like to point out that BJ thinks Jeremy Thoman is forgettable because that was the 4th player in a Resafa game.
Yeah,
so that's on the record.
Yeah. Come on,
Jeremy 1 is now Jeremy 3.
Okay.
In the eyes of BJ. Sorry, Jeremy. Well, thanks for listening to another episode of the Board Boys podcast, season 18, episode 1. We did it. It's funny. I forgot that I was editing episode 13 and posting that. So in the Discord, when it came out, I was like, hey, episode 18 is actually next. So thanks for listening. We really appreciate it. You can go to theboardboys.com, check out all our links to the social media. You can give us 5-star iTunes or Spotify reviews. You can join our Discord and play some BGA games with good old new daddy, re-daddy Cam. Well, and us. I mean, that's right. Like, you're not a new daddy.
Jake refuses to play, so don't invite him to any games.
I got a pretty cool stretch of not logging into BGA right now.
Whoa.
It's been since, I don't know, like middle of August.
That's wild.
Yeah. I do this.
I do this. I just invited people to a bunch of games, so I was getting pretty low. I need to get alpha status so I can play cool new alpha games at higher than one turn a day at a clip.
Have Dave Braun invite you.
Yeah, Dave Braun.
Dave Braun's the answer.
That's true, but then he also needs to want to play those games. Like, I'm in an Alchemist game with Cam right now, and I'm the only one that likes Alchemist.
I think you should just ask Dave Braun, and he will put you in the game.
Sure.
Yep.
Or I could just play 30 more games of Can't Stop, and I made it to 700. So
I would say
I'm pretty close.
There are a lot of people in our Discord that will play literally any game you invite them to, even if they don't know it. There's probably 20 people that will do that. So if you do like to play BGA and you're kind of missing a group or whatever, like there's a bunch of people in the Discord. You just put it out there and they'll play games with you. So including me, I'll play whatever game you want.
Sounds good.
No, Tim will not play any game. He won't play that LA mystery.
No, I
game.
play that again.
You had to quit.
I couldn't finish. I mean, I'm not going to read the rules or anything, but I'll play it.
Oh man, I need to go look at a game. I can't remember what it is. I really think it's fun. It's 2-player only deduction where you play cards and then you're like chasing this other person around a track. Have you guys played this game?
No.
I'll invite you to it. It's super fun. Sorry, I don't remember the name of it. We'll talk about it on the podcast.
Is it
next
Operation
time.
Barclay?
No.
Okay, that just came out and it was 2 players, but I actually don't know what it's
like
about.
I'm gonna buy this game when I can find it. It's really neat, and you play it on BGA. I think you play it like in under 5 minutes. So if you were playing real time. Hey, quick editor's note here. The game I was talking about was Agent Avenue by Nerd Games. If you, I'd like to thank our Patreon sponsors now. You can find the Patreon link on theboardboys.com. BJ from Board Game Gumbo, Timothy Crisco, Shifty Teeth, Jordan Smith, Andre Bosch, Braden Dowdy, Rob Cooper, Richard Lane, Matt Kelly, Portland Gamecraft, Terry Ward, Mark D. the Fourth, and Jeremy Thoman. Thanks again, everybody. And until next time, we hope you like board games.
Boing, ba-boing, ba-boing.
We ready to do this thing?
Sure.
I am ready.
I feel like I should do this in a cool dwarf voice.
Channel your inner when you
Yeah.
have a beard.
Can't do it. All right.
I'm disappointed you keep shaving your beard off.
I don't like it.